Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to roast green coffee beans in a very inexpensive method using an Orville Redenbacher popcorn popper, or any other popcorn popper will do. I went out and bought this one. You don't want to use your wife's favorite popcorn popper because it will ruin it. As you can see, it makes this thing pretty dirty. The whole thing gets kind of scarred up. But it's really quite easy to do, and it makes a really good cup of coffee. We're going to start out with a half a cup of green coffee beans. These are, I think their name is Tea Berry. They're a pretty good blend of coffee. I'm going to put them inside here. You're going to need a couple of strainers, this one for starters, and then when it comes time to turn the thing off and cool them off, you're going to use both of these. At some point I'm going to have to put this camera down, and I'm going to go ahead and start. Put the camera down right now and plug the popcorn popper in. It's going to go like this for about 3 minutes before anything major happens. You will get some volunteer kernels will pop out, some escapees will pop out, and you want to make sure you have the colander in place or something in place to catch them. I'm going to show you what it looks like down there. It won't take very long and you'll start to smell some of the smoke. I will tell you, this generates some smoke and you want to be ready for that. If you're in a small enclosure, then you're better off doing this outside. I'm going to pause this for a minute and I'll be back when things start to happen. We're about a minute in right now, and you'll see there's an awful lot of chaff in the bottom of this colander. There's a couple of escapees, and I will caution you, if you reach in to grab those and put them back in the popper, they're going to be hot. They're going to be very hot. And as time goes on, they'll get hotter. At some point, the coffee beans are going to start cracking. When we hear them crack, that's called the first crack. Some people like to stop their roasting process at that point. I don't. I usually let it go until I hear the second. I'm going to pause again for a moment. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I'm going to point this down there. The beans are starting to get darker. They're going to get darker and darker, and then we'll start to hear the crack. Did you hear that? That was the first crack. There goes another one. These are the coffee beans cracking as the water that's inside of them expands from the heat. I could stop now and let these beans cool off, and they would be a real light roast. Some people prefer the taste to that. I'm going to let it continue. I'm going to pause now for a moment. It's not going to be long now before we stop this. You'll start to see some smoke. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there should be some smoke starting to come out of the device. The beans are starting to get darker and darker in there. Definitely smoke. In a moment I'm going to stop this and unplug the popcorn popper. Hear the second crack? Here we go. Okay, as you can see, these things are hot, right? What I start to do is I scoop them in and I massage them like so. Give them the opportunity to cool. This is a two-handed process. I'm going to put the camera down in a moment. And I'll just transfer these back and forth until the beans are cool enough to touch. Okay, here's the finished product. You can see there's a little bit of chaff there. One of the reasons you want to use a colander like this too is to get rid of some of the chaff. This does create a mess. Look at the mess. So you're going to have to sweep up when you get done. it's important that you don't use more than half a cup. If you put too many beans in the popcorn popper, they won't be able to move around, and they will just lay in the bottom, and it'll ruin your popper, and it'll ruin your coffee beans. I found a half cup's about the right amount. This doesn't make a tremendous amount of coffee. This is clearly for people who just consider this sort of thing a hobby. I'm going to show you the bag of coffee that I took this out of in a moment, and we'll go upstairs and see what we have. I'm doing this in my basement, by the way. Okay, I put the beans in a container like this. They say that you should let beans like this, they call it rest. Let the beans rest for a day. So I leave them out on the counter like this, and every once in a while I just sort of flip them over so that they're getting some oxygen to them. Here are the two bags I blended this coffee out of. Sumatra Blue Baytak Tea Barita Pea Berry, and El Salvador San Gabriel Bourbon. They have these fantastic names, but both of these are a pretty good bean. They make a good coffee. Sweet Maria's is a website you can order green beans from, and there you have it. Enjoy.